I'm going to tell you everything I know about Vgen now. It's going to take a minute. Here is a couple of reasons to use Vgen. Number one, it's made for human artists, not AI artists. It actually has a vetting system because of artist verification codes that makes it difficult for AI bros to sneak in. It also has a rating system for artists and clients, which means, hey, if an artist is a pain in the ass or a client is a pain in the ass, you can check their rating and you're more likely to be aware of what you're getting yourself into. And it also lets you set up your own forms, terms of service, your own payments, and a set it and forget it system, which is going to streamline it a lot more. So you don't need to reinvent the wheel every single time you want to make a commission. Just keep in mind that the best thing you can do is Vgen is not a magical be-all end-all that's going to solve all of your problems. Remember, communication is key. You still need to tell your client what you're doing. You need to not be a piece of shit. You just need to be reliable. You need to communicate what you're doing, because if a client has a good experience with you, they are more likely to work with you again. So the golden rule is don't be an asshole. Also threaten them on occasion, just to keep them guessing, just a little bit. First things first is this splash page here. The reason I'm including it is because there's a lot of things here that people overlook. First things first. People should follow your Vgen page. Number one, do they know that you have one? Tell them to follow it. The reason they should follow it is because they will get notifications for when you have services that go live. As soon as a commission form or a service that you're using goes live, they'll get a notification about it. They will actually know that your commissions are up. And the other thing is, did you know that people can get notifications when they go live if they were closed? So say, for example, I have my Skeb commissions, all of my slots filled up. Oh no, darn, they filled up so fast and now it's closed. Gee, that really sucks. So they can follow this while it's closed to get a notification for next time that it's open. So that way, if you have like any kind of wait list or they missed it before, they can get a notification like immediately if they missed that window last time. So they won't just be like, oh damn, I missed it, I'm never gonna get one. They should follow you, or they could follow the service from you. This right here, which is also right here, by the way, with the reviews, is that little review thing I told you about. The good news is they can be disputed. So if that's something that you guys are stressed out about, like, oh man, what if I just get a real piece of work that just, review bombs me or something like that? Don't worry, they actually can be disputed. Vgen's troubleshooting team is actually pretty good at working with you on that. So if somebody is just unreasonable, they are actually pretty good at working with you. Just be sure to keep the DMs and stuff on hand, have your receipts ready. But the nice thing about this is just the longer you work with Vgen, the longer you stick with them. It builds credibility both on the website and with your clients. Obviously, I know that reviews aren't everything, but it will help lend credibility to your account if somebody sees any degree of activity on here rather than nothing, because it'll help convince them that, hey, you're not a scammer, because there's something here. If I were somebody who doesn't know you personally, I'm more likely to give you my money if I'm convinced that at least you're a real person. That is a thing that rewards effort. The longer you're here, the more of these you can get. Even if it's anything, then at least they know you're real. Here for your portfolio, you're gonna see mine are all mature and blurred out. Fun fact, I'm a not safe for work artist. That's why you're seeing a lot of these, but I am including this because there's two important details to see here. One, you're gonna see this little commission tag right here, and also that I have one. Best thing you can do is to already have an existing portfolio, so you need to get to work. If you don't already have one, get one. And then the other thing is you're gonna see this little commission label right here. The best thing you can do on Vgen is you can use your commissions as your portfolio. Not only can you do that, it is encouraged, because Vgen is much more likely to promote commission portfolio pieces than just regular portfolio pieces, because this is a confirmed commission. So that way they'll say, hey, do you like this portfolio piece? Did you know that this was a commission that was made through Vgen? They will promote that a lot more because it went through Vgen. So, hey, if you play the game, you get more recommendations. Just keep that in mind. Now, granted, that is a once you're already in type of strategy, but at least you know about it, So if you get a commission, use the strategy. Over here, this is for your wallet. You're going to notice all of these tabs off to the side here. I'm going through these one by one, so I broke them all down into a section. I went through and I screenshotted this meticulously for presentation, all right? Like I said, methodical about this shit. Wallet, this is broken down into two sections. You can either do PayPal or Vgen payments. They both sound like the same thing, but they are actually very, very different. So PayPal, if somebody decides to pay with PayPal, it gives you the money instantly. So somebody says, hey, I want a commission. I pay through PayPal, bada bing, bada boom. It goes to your PayPal. You can withdraw the money instantly. Cool. You can go withdraw it. You can go buy that one new Resident Evil game that just came out.
No thanks, bro.
Waifu figure that you always wanted. That's awesome. And I'm really happy for you that things are going well. Vgen payments are different. The way that works is because they process the payment, it does not go to you immediately. Vgen is going to hang on to that money until you are done with the commission. The reason that happens is because that is on the client's end. That is a client requested thing. So they pay with a card or a debit credit card or something else like that. But the thing is, it doesn't pay you, it pays Vgen. So pretty much what they're saying is like, oh, mom and dad are hanging on to the money until you're done with the whatever. There's a couple of reasons for doing that. Say it's like a high dollar amount for like a very, very expensive project. Like say you're working on a VTuber model, $5,000, something like that. And, you know, maybe your artist has a habit of, you know, running off and smoking a shit ton of drugs in the bathroom. That is going to keep them from smoking all of the drugs in the bathroom until they're actually done with your VTuber model. Like they need to make it first before they get paid. So it's an added layer of security for the client. That's not for the artist. So if you want to get your money, you actually need to finish the project. So they will do this and pay with Vgen payments. So the thing is, the client doesn't have the money anymore. The artist doesn't have the money anymore. Vgen has the money. And they just hang on to it until either the deadline passes and then they get their money back because you're not done, or you finish the project and then you get your money. So they can decide how they want to pay, which is either this or this. Now, it's up to you if you accept Vgen payments or not. So if you're just like, what? No, fuck that. I want to get paid instantly. I want my crisp money. It's up to you if you do that. If you accept to pay either way, then cool. You have more payment options, but it's actually up to you which type of payment you accept. I accept both because, you know, I don't smoke a shit ton of drugs in the bathroom, just the living room. Here is payment transactions. Now, obviously, of course, I censored them because you don't need to see all the payment transactions that I got. But the nice thing about this is a fun little thing called taxes. If you're worried about being really bad at keeping track of it, Vgen will do it for you. That way, if you need to pay taxes at the end of the year because you're just fucking killing it and crushing it and you're just like, man, how much did I make? How do I fill out my W-2? Whatever. Don't worry about it. Vgen already has that taken care of and all tracked for you, and that'll just facilitate it there. So that's just a nice little quality of life thing that they will actually have in your wallet tab for you to tell you, bro, you made this much. You're welcome. This commissions tab right here is the most important part, and I will be spending the longest amount of time here. As you can see, I drew on this one the most, and it goes hard. So I'm going to go here. You're going to see I even numbered it 1, 2, 3, and 4, even 5. And then there's this little side tab over here. You fill out your forms, you do everything, you finally get your commission request. You know, you get your first request. Hoorah! This is how it all works. So the request would go here. You decide if you accept it or not. So you fill out your form, you get your first commission request. It's going to show up here. It's either going to be, at this point, it would be unpaid. You know, they haven't paid for it yet. It would be the name of the person, the name of the service, the deadline, if they do or don't have one. That would be here under new. And then if you decide to accept it, it's going to show up in this bracket right here. If you accept a couple, obviously, then you would see them right here. And then here is the stuff that you are currently working on. So this is all the things you agreed to work on. This is your work in progresses, which means, hey, this is the stuff you are currently working on. If you click on this and say that you're working on it, it's going to DM them and say, hey, they are currently working on it. That is going to activate that deadline counter. So if you say like, oh, a month or 2 months or whatever, that activates that deadline counter. So do not click whip until you are ready to be working on this. And then, of course, the completed, you know, that's that order. But you're going to see here, I have the little numbers for whatever. So the way that a request would work is you get an email that says, hey, I want you to draw da, 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 da. You get that request, you click into it, and they send a proposal. But you see this goes from 1 to 2. That's the client to-do list. That client to-do list means that they need to pay you. Before they pay you, you're going to be seeing something called a proposal. That is right here. So pretty much what you're going to see is your form. You're going to scroll to the very bottom and you're going to see this scope. This is the thing for the artist to fill out. What the proposal means, and this is the most important part with me. If I had keys, I would be jingling them in front of you, Markiplier style.
Jingle, jingle, pay attention.
What the proposal means, hear me out here. This is the most important part. What are you going to do for the money that the client is going to pay you? Do not be vague. If the client doesn't know exactly what they are going to do, they are going to probably assume that you're going to be doing something extra and they are going to be mad. The most amount of problems that I have ever had with the 100 plus, 200 plus, whatever commissions I have had is because the proposal was not clear enough. So list any variants, list all the variants that are going to be in the proposal right here. If there's going to be a background, if there's going to be extra characters, the deadline of the drawing, the intended day that you begin to start, how you're going to send them updates, whether it's going to be via Discord or Vgen, treat it like a receipt. If anything goes wrong, this is your lawyer. If they're going to complain and give you a bad review, this is what you said you were going to do. If they're going to argue with Vgen and complain, this is what you said you were going to do. Do you get where I'm getting at? If anything is complained about, this is where you said what you were going to do for the money that they gave you. This is why I'm saying this is the most important part. I even highlighted it in red. So always give yourself double the amount of time that you think you're going to be needing right here. So this is the estimated start day. This is the guaranteed delivery date. I need a week to draw this piece, which is in May. So I gave myself until July 1st. I need a week, so I gave myself 2 months. You get to decide what this is, by the way. And then after that, just know that Vgen does collect a fee and do not start until they agree to pay. I cannot stress that enough. Now, here you're going to see in the details, you can either say 100% up front or a payment plan. That's like, oh, they can pay when I'm done, or half of it up front, or half and half, or a quarter, or whatever. You can actually set up what this payment plan is yourself. You can set it up via PayPal or that payment thing like the Vgen funding thing I told you about. But here is some little detail that is going to be very important, and you might miss the fine details. If the client pays 180, you're going to see that total fees, the service, the payment processing fees, and the total payout. Vgen collected $21, which means out of that $180, I made $158. No, Vgen is not free. A lot of people assume it is. It is not. They collect a fee for the convenience in providing the service. I do not mind, because me doing this stuff, by myself is a pain in the ass. But I think that the quality of like the service for what you get, the quality of life and the tools they provide is worth it. But I am putting that out there. It is not free. Just know that the proposal, this is at the very end of the form. So that form that you have people fill out, which I will get to later, by the way, at the very bottom of the proposal, this is the thing you fill out. Once you fill this out, you are telling your client, this is what I'm willing to do. This is how much you would be willing to pay. That will send your client an email. Once they get that email, they decide if they accept it or not. If they say, all right, yes, I'm good, sign up. That goes from 1 to 2. Once it goes from 2 and they say, fuck, I'm down, sign me up. Boom, that goes into 3, which is ready. That puts them into your wait list. So they say, sounds good. They pay you. They are good to go. They are now on your wait list. And if they say, ew, no, never mind, fucking kill them. If they agree to pay you, they are now on your wait list. And now that they are on your wait list, once you decide you're going to work on the drawing, then it goes from here. You're actually working on it. That starts your deadline. And then once you're done, it goes over here to 5, right? So that is the actual commission process itself. That is going to be the part that obviously takes the longest. Now you're going to see over here in services, this is the part that gets broken down a lot. I'm going to kind of include all of these parts together. So services, workflows, forms, and policies. You're going to see all of these are right here. So you're going to see commissions, and then all of these are kind of grouped together. Those I'm just going to get into, but services is going to be these little notes right here. And these are going to be the things that appear on the splash page for your page itself. So remember over here, you see that surprise SCEB commission form thing. This is going to be where that shows up. And keep in mind that this will normally preview like examples of your drawings, but mine are censored, just because not safe for work art. They're the lewds, so mine is censored. But keep in mind that for your services, you can actually add portfolio examples. So your services will include portfolio pieces of the drawings you're working on. So it'll have like a nice little navigator right here. You can tell people a little bit about it. You can even have like a little starting cost right here. These are your services. So your services can range from either art, emotes, SCEB commissions, VTuber models, rigging, just rigging itself, Twitch banners, Shikishi boards, animations, etc., even selling courses and products. These are services. So just keep in mind, it doesn't have to be like, oh, only drawing commissions. It can actually be like a range of different things, but those are your services. If you were to click on this right here, so start a request, that is going to bring up a window, and that window has a bunch of different tabs in it. But all of those different tabs are automatically filled in by these next 4 windows right here. So if you fill out all of these things, that will collectively bring up that one service. What I mean by that is, so here's your Scab surprise commission form. Commission types, you can set if it's open, closed, whatever. You can set how many slots there are, notify people when they're open or not. So if you're still working on it and you're like, oh, well, I don't want people to get an email every time I'm working on it, especially if I'm fine tuning it. Don't worry. If it's not safe for work like my stuff, you can warn people. You can warn people how it's not safe for work. You can set a general price, which I'm not going to get into that. Set it to be whatever you want. If you're overwhelmed with work, raise the prices. If you're not getting any work, lower the prices. But then other than that, it's just up to you to set whatever it is. And then there's different types, which is custom proposal, where people can tell you exactly what they want, or an instant order, which is just like, you don't really get to fill out a form. You just tell me what you want, like a your character here type of deal. But then here you're going to see workflow, request form, terms of service. These are broken down into those little banners that I told you about, these little forms. But here you set the price. Here would be your samples. This is where you would actually see the portfolio examples. I just needed to, censor mine. And then here I have a little note for me in the browser to show you guys. So don't worry, that's a note for me, not for you. Here is the workflows. Now, I just have the standard workflow here that I haven't actually touched at all. And the reason that I don't touch this at all is just because I made my own. Now, of course, you can go through this and customize it exactly how you want so you can work with the client. But I actually just made my own through like a spreadsheet. I would love to have a thing that I can share, but I don't know how. But I'll just show you how mine works. So here is just a spreadsheet that I made where I can go through a list. So here you see, here are my monthly slots. Here is how things would go. And then from here is like a little workflow thing that I can tell people. So here I could say Baba Booey client 1. And then I could say, oh, here I'm working on the line art. This is for June. The drawing is safe for work. It has no variants, a detailed background or no. Creative liberty, which is just how strictly I need to follow the prompt or not. Body type, this one was a 3/4. Style, it's anime, and there's one character. Then of course from here it's just like credit, how do they want to be credited or not. Then from there I can just collapse the window or not. So this is how much they need to see. This is all info for me. Because if you're working on a lot of commissions, it can get like a little confusing or whatever. But yeah, pretty much I just made a little Google Doc where I can do a little drop down so I don't need to type it in every time. So I just say like, oh, once I'm done with the line art, or I'm working on the background, or I'm nearly finished with the drawing, or hey, now I am finished with the drawing. So it's my own personal worksheet that I use to keep track of what I'm doing. But since it's my own personal worksheet, I actually just share the link to every single client. And that way it's like, what am I working on today? I update the sheet for myself, but since it's always updated for me, I just share it with them and they know what I'm working on. Because remember that thing I told you at the very, very beginning of the video of like, communication is key with your client. Don't be an asshole. So sad client number 4, he's wondering, it's like, oh, has Warny started on my drawing yet? It's like, well, let's see. They can just go to my spreadsheet over here and they can see, oh, where are they at on my drawing? Oh, well, let me just go to the spreadsheet. They go to the spreadsheet, they find themselves on here, and then they're just like, oh, Warny's on the thumbnail. Isn't it nice that they can just check? And look, they didn't even have to DM me. That's why I do it this way with a Google Sheet that they can just track by themselves instead of through Vgen's workflow thing over here. But that's just personal preference though. I'm sure that this works great. I just also never use it. I also included the link to the form in the proposal itself. I even said directly in the proposal, you can check the status of your commission at any time by clicking this link to the form. Here is the actual forms themselves. As you can see, I have a couple. So I'm going to go through 2 of them just so you get an idea. So fortunately with the forms, you can make them exactly the way that you would like it. No 2 people are exactly the same. So you can kind of use mine as a template, then make your own exactly the way that you want. Just keep in mind that this is probably going to be the part that takes the longest. So you might lose like a day or a couple of days setting these up. But fortunately, once you're done, you just set it and forget it and leave it forever and then just don't need to touch it again. Here is my regular request form. So I'm just going to go here. And then you're going to see here. So these are my terms of service. You can decide how you want to collect their social media stuff. Describe your commission request, any characters, weapons, props. Just know that the price may increase based on like how complex it is. How strictly do you want me to follow your prompt? So like extremely strictly, how much creative liberty do I get on this? Is this going to be safe for work or not safe for work? How much of the character do you want to be drawn? Half body, full body references are required. just be sure to be careful looking through these types of files. Be careful with links, of course. Like PNGs and JPEGs are always preferred, but if you see links, be careful with links. Just don't get scammed. Don't get malware and shit. Here, may I stream this work publicly or not? Sometimes NDAs are important, and if there's an NDA, charge for the privacy, charge for the time. You should, because this portfolio piece for you is promotion, and if you can't do that, you should charge for that. Some people don't believe in it. They're high. And then do you have a hard deadline? If there is a rush or something, you should maybe charge for that. Then, of course, add-ons or anything like that, variants, additional characters, background if there is going to be one. How do they want to be credited, or do they want to remain anonymous? Some people, it's just their character. They actually don't want to be credited online. Just be sure that you're clear on that, if they are credited, it is not the same as a shout out. Some people will try to use your platform as like a free shout out for them. They're just like, hey, if I pay for a shout out from somebody who has 30 billion followers, I get a shout out from getting a commission. Doesn't work that way, pal. This is their ad. This is a disclaimer from me. It's just like, hey, for revisions, if they don't get back to me in 72 hours, I reserve the right to continue, and they forfeit the right to revisions. I do this to light a fire under people's ass, so that way they don't keep me waiting forever, because I don't have time to wait forever. Here is a link to my waitlist. Remember that thing I told you about my waitlist? That way, if people want to see the progress of the waitlist, is like, here's a link to my waitlist. You can copy and paste it. That way, little discounts and stuff, of course. So if people draw subjects that I actually like anyway, I give them a small discount. And then this is just like a little template for how my commission slots work, because they are monthly. It even explains how my waitlist works and stuff, because again, communication with your client is key. And so it took me a lot of time to make this, but it just helps is the thing. So this is for my monthly commission form. This is for my Skeb commission form. This one is different. But of course, from here, it's just, give me a general description of the character, any specific costume. One sentence, keep it very, very basic. What you want me to do? How spicy do you want this drawing to be? How many characters? Again, do you want this to be anonymous or not? That same wait list. Is there a discount corner? And again, how my monthly slots work. And then also me just doubling down on the fact that this is a Skeb commission, because communication, say it with me, is key. And of course, if you want to read through these more carefully, I'm kind of glossing over it, but I'm sure you can pause and just really, really read these for yourself just to see what I included or didn't include. But you really want these to be thorough with your client, just to make sure that they do understand what they are getting into. And then here with the policies, these are terms of service. I will just kind of gloss over these, but general payments, revisions, these are how the revisions work. What I will draw, what I won't draw. What rights they have with the drawing. Just because I drew it for you doesn't mean you own it. You can't use my stuff to train AIs or for NFTs or anything like that. Refunds, how much of a refund you get, at what point I am in the process, and then communication, stuff like that. So terms of service, shit, you can even copy and paste mine if you want, but I won't even be mad. Policies, which again are just your terms of service. And once you fill all of those out, those will show up inside of your commission form. So once you go to your services right here and you click on one of these, that form is automatically going to be loaded in with everything that you filled out. So yeah, that'll be it. What you stand to gain from doing that is, if you fill out and are extremely thorough with your forms on Vgen, you might lose like a day or two worth of work, which is kind of boring, but then you have forms that you can just set and forget. The only thing that your client will need to do in order to get a commission from you is to fill out a form. But yeah, that is damn near everything I know. If you guys have any questions, then be sure to leave them down below. And me or anybody else who knows stuff about Vgen, I'm sure that they would be happy to answer down below. If anybody has any really good tips or tricks, be sure to share them. I want to make this kind of like a community thing, of course. I'm not, the big brain know-it-all whatever about it. If anybody has any good general tips or anything that they would like to share, by all means, the share. I would love to hear them. If this did help, then please like the video, share it with anybody who has any Vgen related questions or just needs a place to start. And yeah, hope that you found it helpful. I do also stream quite often, by the way, so if you want to check out my Twitch or any other links like that, then I will leave those down below as well. But I will see you later. Bye-bye.